Senator Ben Ray Lujan just exploded at Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and he had every right to. The issue is a secret addendum to a settlement between the IRS and President Trump. The addendum, according to Lujan, says that President Trump and anyone affiliated with him, his kids, his businesses, people who did transactions with him, are off scot-free. The Department of Justice signed the IRS up for it, and Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury, claims he did not know about it.
Sir, I have specific knowledge of this addendum that you don't know a damn thing about. That is for the Department of Treasury that your lawyer at the Department of Justice signed you up for.
Lujan asked Bessent if he was familiar with the addendum. Bessent said he was not sure what Lujan was referring to. Lujan asked if he was aware of this giveaway from the IRS that says President Trump and anyone that knows him or does business with him gets off scot-free. Bessent referred him to Attorney General Blanche. Lujan asked if Bessent was Blanche's client. Bessent said the IRS and Treasury are clients of the Department of Justice.
Are you Attorney General Blanche's client?
The IRS and Treasury are a client of the Department of Justice.
Lujan pressed. Are you Secretary of the Treasury? Yes. Does the Department of Justice represent you in this lawsuit? Yes. Are you telling me the DOJ gave the president this without you knowing about it? Bessent said they settle on their behalf. Lujan said that is not how the law works.
Are you aware of this addendum? You're telling me DOJ gave the president this without you knowing about it?
Again, they settle on our
All right,
behalf.
well, that's not how the law works, sir. I'm not a lawyer, but you have a bunch of them behind you. You should see the faces they're making at me.
Lujan then asked about sanctions. Bessent has been sanctioning bad people, Iran, terrorists, drug cartels. Lujan congratulated him for that. Then he asked the question that Bessent could not answer. Does every American become part of this addendum? If someone didn't pay their taxes or violated tax law, are they told they cannot be prosecuted? Or is this only for President Trump and his affiliates? Bessent asked if Lujan had specific knowledge that President Trump is being audited. Lujan said he has specific knowledge of this addendum that Bessent does not know a damn thing about.
Senator, do you have specific knowledge that President Trump's being audited?
Sir, I have specific knowledge of this addendum that you don't know a damn thing about. That is for the Department of Treasury that your lawyer at the Department of Justice signed you up for.
Then Lujan dropped the hammer. President Trump's sons signed a deal with World Liberty Financial with a bunch of folks Bessent has sanctioned. And now, as part of this, there is an addendum that says President Trump and his kids and anyone affiliated with him are off scot-free. Lujan said this is wrong. This is lawless. He offered the addendum into the record. Bessent said Lujan does not understand the protocol. Lujan said Bessent should apologize to the American people for fleecing them and giving this away to Donald Trump. Bessent said they can agree to disagree. Let's watch.
Thank you. Senator Lujan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Bessent, should Americans who illegally evade their taxes be investigated and prosecuted?
Yes.
Secretary Bessent, should people and organizations facilitating money laundering for Iran, North Korea, or Hamas be prosecuted?
Yes.
What about laundering money for Mexican drug cartels?
Yes.
Should a person who traded and profited on insider information be prosecuted?
According to the law, they should.
Appreciate that. Mr. Secretary, as a result of President Trump's $10 billion lawsuit, the Department of Justice, on behalf of your department, settled with President Trump by creating a $1.776 billion slush fund to pay for his supporters and criminals. Were you either directly or through your staff asked to sign the original agreement?
Again, Senator, you were not here at the early part of the meeting.
I saw you on TV.
Well, congratulations, and you would know that I'm unable to answer those questions, and they should be referred to
Mr.
Attorney
Secretary,
General Blanche.
what about the addendum to this agreement? Are you familiar with what the addendum is?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Are you familiar with this giveaway from the IRS that says President Trump and anyone that knows him or does business with him or part of a business, they get off scot-free? Are you aware of this?
Again, I refer you to Attorney General Blanche.
Are you Attorney General Blanche's client?
The IRS and Treasury are a client of the Department of Justice.
So is that a nice way of saying yes? You're a client. He's your lawyer.
He represents.
You're the secretary. Are you the Secretary of Treasury? Yes is the answer.
The Department of Justice.
Scott Bessent, let me ask you this question, sir. Are you the Secretary?
In my personal capacity, Tom Blanche is not my attorney.
Correct, sir.
Are
you, sir,
for the
Mr.
U.S.
Secretary,
Treasury?
Scott, let me ask it this way. Scott, are you the Secretary of Treasury for the United States government?
Yes.
Appreciate that. The Department of Justice represents the IRS and the Department of Treasury in this lawsuit, correct?
Correct.
Are you aware of this addendum? You're telling me DOJ gave the president this without you knowing about it?
Again, they settle on our
All right,
behalf.
well, that's not how the law works, sir. I'm not a lawyer, but you have a bunch of them behind you. You should see the faces they're making at me behind you. They're all scowling at me back over here.
Well, I think that's a different reason, sir.
Well, for whatever it is, they're doing it. Mr. Secretary, my concern is that this addendum's not been getting a lot of attention. There's colleagues on this panel that think this slush fund is a bunch of bullshit. And they've called out to say, get rid of it. Now, people need to say, are you okay with one person in America, because the Secretary of Treasury, I'm guessing, conferred with the Department of Justice, because you're named on this lawsuit, sir. These are all the transactions from the president as well, that I'm going to ask you this next question as well. You were bragging to one of my colleagues that you've been sanctioning people doing bad things in America. People that get sanctioned, like Iran or terrorists, they're told not to do business in the United States with partners. Is that your understanding, sir, me as a layman?
It is.
You hold these bad people accountable. I congratulate you for that. So this little giveaway to President Trump and his family gets them off scot-free. Does every American become part of this addendum? If someone didn't pay their taxes or violated tax law or did bad things, are they told, can't prosecute you, you're good? Everyone going back to the date of this, or is this only for President Trump and his affiliates?
Senator, do you have specific knowledge that President Trump's being audited?
Sir, I have specific knowledge of this addendum that you don't know a damn thing about. That is for the Department of Treasury that your lawyer at the Department of Justice signed you up for. The reason I'm asking this question is because President Trump's sons signed a deal, as you know, with World Liberty Financial, with a bunch of folks you sanctioned. And now, as part of this, there's an addendum that says President Trump and his kids and anyone affiliated with him, I don't know if it's current wives, former wives, people that just did transactions with him, they're off scot-free. That, you know, that has a new way, a new ring to it, this thing, scot-free, because the Department of Treasury and the IRS is not going to go after him, sir. This is wrong. This is lawless. I hope our colleagues will look at this addendum. If I could offer this into the record, Mr. Chairman, for those that haven't seen it yet.
Without objection.
Come on, man. There's a better way of doing this, sir. That's all we're saying here. So, look, I appreciate it if you don't want to talk about a lawsuit. That's your prerogative to answer that way. But to say that you as a client, as Secretary of the U.S. Treasury, does not know what the Department of Justice is giving away to people, come on, man. That's just not on the up and up, sir. I hope we can do better.
You don't understand the way the protocol works, and we receive advice and accept their settlement.
You're telling me as the Secretary of U.S. Treasury, you don't know that the President of the United States, who I think you work for, got a sweetheart deal from the Department of Justice, who's your lawyer.
I do know.
You're in line for the presidency, Scott.
I do know that the President of the United States and 400, many of his employees had the largest tax leak in history. And I know,
here's his filing, sir, of all the insider trading, right here.
Do you want to apologize on behalf of the American government?
Scott, you should apologize to the American people for fleecing them and giving this away to Donald Trump, man. That's what you should do.
We can agree to disagree.
Senator Warnock.
Thanks. That we'll agree on.
This hearing is a masterclass in how to expose a corrupt deal and the people who claim ignorance of it. Senator Ben Ray Lujan did not come with vague accusations. He did not come with partisan talking points. He came with a specific addendum, a specific timeline, a specific business deal involving Trump's sons, and a specific question that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent could not answer. Does every American get the same treatment, or is this only for President Trump and his affiliates? Bessent could not answer, because the answer is obvious. This is only for Trump. And that is the heart of the scandal. The government is giving special treatment to the president and his family. The government is exempting them from the laws that apply to everyone else. The government is protecting them from accountability. And the Secretary of the Treasury is either lying about his knowledge of it or is so incompetent that he does not know what his own department is doing. Either way, it is disqualifying. Lujan began by asking Bessent if he was familiar with the addendum. Bessent said he was not sure what Lujan was referring to. That is a remarkable statement. The Secretary of the Treasury is not familiar with a key document that the Department of Justice signed on behalf of the Treasury Department. He is either lying or incompetent. Either way, it is disqualifying. Lujan pressed, "Are you aware of this giveaway from the IRS that says President Trump and anyone that knows him or does business with him gets off scot-free?" Bessent referred him to Attorney General Blanche. Lujan asked if Bessent was Blanche's client. Bessent said the IRS and Treasury are clients of the Department of Justice. Lujan pressed, "Are you Secretary of the Treasury?" "Yes." "Does the Department of Justice represent you in this lawsuit?" "Yes." "Are you telling me the DOJ gave the president this without you knowing about it?" Bessent said they settle on their behalf. Lujan said that is not how the law works. The law is clear. The Secretary of the Treasury is responsible for the IRS. The IRS is a bureau of the Treasury Department. The Secretary cannot claim ignorance of a major settlement involving the IRS. Bessent is not a passive observer. He is the head of the department. He is responsible for what the department does. If the Department of Justice signs a settlement on behalf of the Treasury Department, the Secretary of the Treasury should know about it. Bessent's claim of ignorance is not credible. Bessent tried to deflect. He said Lujan should see the faces of the lawyers behind him, all scowling. That is a strange comment. Bessent is trying to create a distraction. He is trying to make it seem like Lujan is being unreasonable, but Lujan is not being unreasonable. He is asking basic questions about a corrupt deal. Bessent is the one who is being evasive. Bessent is the one who is refusing to answer. Bessent is the one who is hiding behind protocol. Lujan did not let him get away with it. He kept pressing. He kept asking. He kept demanding answers. Lujan then asked about sanctions. Bessent has been sanctioning bad people, Iran, terrorists, drug cartels. Lujan congratulated him for that. That is a smart move. Lujan is not attacking Bessent for doing his job. He is acknowledging that Bessent has done good work. But then he asks the question that Bessent cannot answer. Does every American become part of this addendum? If someone didn't pay their taxes or violated tax law, are they told they cannot be prosecuted? Or is this only for President Trump and his affiliates? That is the key question. Bessent cannot answer it. He asks if Lujan has specific knowledge that President Trump is being audited. That is a dodge. The question is not whether Trump is being audited. The question is whether Trump is being given special treatment. And the answer is yes. Lujan said he has specific knowledge of this addendum that Bessent does not know a damn thing about. That is a devastating line. The Secretary of the Treasury does not know a damn thing about a key document that his own department signed. He is either lying or incompetent. Either way, he should not be in charge. Then Lujan dropped the hammer. President Trump's sons signed a deal with World Liberty Financial with a bunch of folks Bessent has sanctioned. That is a critical detail. Trump's sons are doing business with people the Treasury Department has sanctioned. That is a conflict of interest. That is a national security concern. And now, as part of this, there is an addendum that says President Trump and his kids and anyone affiliated with him are off scot-free. Lujan said this is wrong. This is lawless. He offered the addendum into the record. Besant said Lujan does not understand the protocol. Lujan said Besant should apologize to the American people for fleecing them and giving this away to Donald Trump. Besant said they can agree to disagree. That is not an answer. That is a dismissal. Besant is not engaging with the substance of the allegations. He is hiding behind protocol. He is hiding behind the Department of Justice. He is hiding behind Attorney General Blanche. But he is the Secretary of the Treasury. He is responsible for the IRS. He is responsible for the Treasury Department. He cannot hide behind others. He must answer for himself. The broader context of this hearing is the erosion of accountability in the Trump administration. The president has made it clear that he expects loyalty from his appointees. He has fired inspectors general who have investigated his administration. He has installed loyalists in positions that are supposed to be independent. Besant is a product of that environment. He knows that his job depends on pleasing the president. He knows that if he is too aggressive, he will be fired. So he hedges. He dodges. He claims ignorance. He does not commit. He does not investigate. He does not hold anyone accountable. That is not the behavior of a secretary. That is the behavior of a bureaucrat who is more concerned with keeping his job than with doing his job. Besant's performance is a reflection of a broader culture of impunity. The Trump administration does not believe that the rules apply to them. They believe that they are above the law. They believe that they can do whatever they want. And Besant is complicit in that belief. Lujan is right to be outraged. The addendum is a giveaway. It gives President Trump and his family immunity from tax audits. It gives them immunity from prosecution. It gives them immunity from accountability. That is not how the law works. The law applies to everyone. No one is above the law. But this addendum says that Trump is above the law. His family is above the law. His businesses are above the law. That is not justice. That is corruption. Lujan exposed that corruption. He showed that Besant is either lying or incompetent. He showed that the Trump family is getting special treatment. He showed that the system is rigged, and he made sure that everyone watching knows it. Lujan's closing statement was the most important part of the exchange. He said Besant should apologize to the American people for fleecing them and giving this away to Donald Trump. That is not a partisan attack. That is a statement of fact. The American people are being fleeced. Their tax dollars are being used to protect the president and his family. Their government is being used to shield the president from accountability. And Besant is part of that. He is complicit in that. He is helping to cover it up. And he will not apologize. He will not admit that anything is wrong. He will not take responsibility. He will not do his job. That is the scandal. That is the corruption. And Lujan exposed it for everyone to see.